Yep.
Oh, look at you.
Oh, we're streaming live on YouTube. What's up, YouTube? This you, but no. This is Randy with KRE8. I know it's gonna be live to the people.
Yeah, we up here.
Sweet.
Yep.
Look at you. Yeah, you gotta mute this. That's what.
All right. Well, y'all let me know when y'all want me to start, and I'll dive in.
I guess you can go ahead and we can give it 2 more minutes if maybe.
We need
maybe
one of those clapper things.
I had 2. One of them broke, and one of them missing. So I don't have any. I don't use them though. I don't like them. They're just too much. If you don't have like an assistant on set to keep up with the slate or a script supervisor, then this is like it's pointless to keep up with. But they're helpful, very helpful.
Why? Because it'll tell you. Is it linked up to the frames?
If you use it right, if you're an editor, then you can just look at basically you don't have to look at the footage really, you just look at the thumbnails, you see what scene it is and all of those things. And usually in the real world, whoever's on set supposed to give the editor notes to, okay, scene 3A was the take the director really liked, so the director would know to put scene 3A in the folder of usable footage. But most people don't use the slate the right way, so it's just there for a show at this point.
Yeah, when I was at
smaller production.
When I was at Tyler Perry Studios, they had the slate with and it was synced up to the actual time frames.
And it's supposed to help sync audio as well with the clap. So it's really easy to sync up. Yeah, really easy to sync up audio when you see it clap and you have a peak in your audio.
Right.
So you can, So that's, in situations like that, if I'm recording audio separate from the camera, I would just clap really loud on camera, and that does the same thing. Because I know I'm not doing 100 takes on one scene. So especially in corporate commercial work, you're doing less takes and stuff. So especially interview style work.
Yeah, but we're talking about, what did you call that thing? We're talking about, you ever see like directors, they have that thing and they have a thing that goes down and closes. You know, like that's what it's talking about.
Okay.
Just to include you in.
Right.
So he understood what he was talking about.
So
go ahead.
All right. So guess we can get started, or
it's a good time.
All right,
go ahead.
I'm about to share my screen now. Let me know if everything's up. And come on, share. Can y'all see it?
We can see.
Sweet. How do I hide this? There we go. All right, so basically this class is intro to composition. So composition is probably the most important thing as far as cinematography go, in my opinion, and just about almost everybody else's opinion. So I don't want to draw it out any longer, so let's just, there we go. All right, so what is composition? Composition refers to how the elements on screen, the actor, scenario, props, etc., appears in respect to each other and within the frame itself. So your composition is basically your shot, how you framing your shot. And there's a such thing as good composition and bad composition. We will get to that later on in the presentation. So starting off with the easiest way to shoot a scene is the master shot technique. So what the master shot technique does is it's a fail-safe to do coverage of an entire scene. So you would start with a wide shot establishing your location. You see it in Tyler Perry movies all the time, just about every other film, because you want to establish their location, establish where each actor is on the screen. And then you will go into your medium shot. So you would shoot the scene again. If you have one camera, you would shoot the scene like 5 or 6 times and all different angles. So you would shoot the whole scene on the master shot. Then you would shoot the entire scene on the medium shot. and then you will go to over the shoulder to one actor, and then you'll shoot the entire scene again, over the shoulder reverse shot, shooting the other actor from their perspective. And then you go to close-ups on the actors, and then you would do inserts. Now, inserts is shots that, like, for an example, if I was shooting a scene of me making coffee, my insert would be the K-cup, because that's the most important thing of that scene. It's the coffee. That's where the coffee is coming from. So I would do the master shot of me making the coffee. Then I would do a close-up of me making the coffee. Then I would do an insert of me grabbing the K-cup out the box. And then another insert of me actually putting the K-cup in the Keurig. And then another scene of me hitting the buttons on the Keurig. So that's how you would get everything you need for your scene. So when you get into the editing room, you're not missing any shots. And you have, it's called coverage. So you'll cover the entire scene. So then you don't have to pay for a reshoot, bring all the actors and the crew back out because you missed one shot, but you have everything covered in the master shot technique. So that's just a fail-safe. Most professionals use this, but more seasoned people who've been doing it for a long time, they somewhat skip master shot technique because they've been doing it for a while, so it's kind of like second nature. I still use it, even though I've been shooting for 10 years, I still use it just to be safe, on the safe end. All right, so a tracking shot is basically, a tracking shot is any shot. Sorry, somebody say something? Any questions before I go? I know I'm moving quickly. Just let me know if I'm moving too fast.
You're good.
You're good.
Okay, so a tracking shot is basically, just summarize it all, is basically the camera following a subject, whether it's following the actor, it's following a car, or whatever that main subject is, that camera is following that subject. And the, like back in, like in Hollywood terms, they would use a dolly track, or now on a smaller budget, we use gimbals, like stabilizers, or you can do a tracking shot handheld. It won't be as smooth, but it's so many different ways to do a tracking shot. So I have an example of a tracking shot here. Okay. There we go. All right. So this is.
Thank you, sir. See you later. Thanks.
What are you doing? You're leaving?
So this is a tracking shot. They're tracking the main actors here. So they're just gonna follow them through the entire scene. And this is a really famous shot. This is a shot that they taught us in film school to explain long shots and tracking shots. So this is a one take shot. It's a really famous shot in history. And there's just the camera following them, tracking their movement. You can track in front of them, you can track side by side, you can track behind them. There's no right or wrong way as long as you're tracking the subject walking through their scene. So that's pretty much all the tracking shot is. We don't have to watch the whole video unless y'all want to. It's like 3 minutes. Yeah.
I guess that's what I've been doing when I video record in church. The pastor, when I do follow him, I'm pretty much was tracking him, following him throughout the service.
Exactly.
Yeah. The reverse shot is something new. The over the shoulder reverse shot.
Yeah. So, you know, when you're having a dialogue scene with someone and you see one actor in screen and the camera's shooting over their shoulder to the other actor as they're talking.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, that's over the shoulder. Then the reverse shot is just the same thing, shooting on the other actor.
Okay.
That's all that is. And that's my favorite shot ever.
Is it?
To me, yeah, it's weird. That's like my favorite shot to use on a lot of things. So this is a hero shot. A hero shot is not just showing the hero. It's basically a low angle shot to add a dramatic sense to a character or dramatic reveal. So it's just a lower angle pointing upward on any subject. They use it for commercial shoots for like products, whatever the case may be. It's a really famous shot. They use it a lot. So we have an example on this one too. Hero shot. Just a montage of like. Oh, sorry. So I know in all of these examples, they're panning, like doing a parallax, and they're going in a circle just to add an extra flair to the whole gym. Like it's super dramatic. It's just like whoa, and it's a good way to introduce the hero or the protagonist of a movie, or it's a good way to introduce the mission is complete or something major is about to go down. And this is the main character of that situation. Yeah. So that's pretty much all a hero shot is. It's an amazing shot to use in film. So get back to it. Any questions, anyone? All right. So a push in and a pull out, I don't have an example for this because it's just what it is. It's just the camera is moving forward on a subject or the camera is moving away. It's not zooming in or zooming out. It's just literally the entire camera is moving in or the entire camera is moving out. That's all the push in, pull in shots are. And when you do a push in, the reason you want to use a push in is to emphasize the importance on a certain subject or character or whatever the case may be. And a pull out is to reveal something. Like say if I'm starting on a rose and I'm pulling out to reveal where the rose is in the scene. So a pull out would be more so of a reveal, and a push in is to draw everyone's focus into, like, if I want everyone to focus on that rose because that rose is really important to the story, I would push the camera all the way into that rose to tell everyone, hey, this is what you look at. This rose means something. So any questions?
No.
All right, sweet.
Doing
So
great,
Dutch angle. The Dutch angle is, there's no right or wrong way to use this angle. It's a creative angle. The Dutch angle is also known as Dutch tilt, canted angle, or oblique angle. Is a type of camera shot which involves setting the camera on an angle on its roll axis. So you're just basically tilting the camera left or right, basically. And it's to add a creative flair to a scene, or on this example here, it's just a creative way to fit everybody in the shot. And ways that I would use it, just an example, I would use it to add some discomfort to a scene, because your shots will emphasize the emotion of a character. And like, if it's an argumentative scene, you would have a shaky shot to add that unstable feeling to a scene. But a Dutch angle for me, I would say if on that scene, on that situation, the character's off balance mentally, I would probably do a Dutch angle. Or if I just want to add a creative flair, I would do a Dutch angle. But that's pretty much all a Dutch angle is. Any questions? All right. Sweet. So now we're moving into the rule of thirds. This is probably the most important thing in composition, is rule of thirds. The rule of thirds is a rule of thumb or guideline which applies to the process of composing visual images. So I have some images here. So this is an example of a good composition. You see, can you guys see my mouse moving? All right, so when I compose shots, I try to keep the subject either here or here. There's very few times I would put a subject in the middle, unless I have leading lines. Like if I'm shooting on a bridge, you have in the middle, the railings in the bridge will be your leading line to draw all the focus to the center of the image. But if it's just a regular image, I would try to put a character here on the left or on the right of these lines. Reason why, because it's visually pleasing. And if I'm looking off to the left or the right, so if the character is looking like me, I'm looking to camera right. So if I'm looking to the right, I will be on the left side and I will have more space here. And if I'm on this side looking the opposite way, then I will be here. So an example of bad composition will be this. You see how he's looking off to camera left and all this dead space is here? That's visually unpleasing. It feels like I'm being suffocated in this image. And you don't want that in your scene.
Right.
So that's just good and bad example. Go back to so this is a good example, and this will be a bad example. So you don't want to do that ever. Any questions?
No, that's good.
All right. So I want to end it with a film that I did. So in this, I utilized the master shot technique. I didn't use all the shots, but I used most of them. We're going to watch it once, and then we're going to go back and watch it again to explain. I'm going to walk you through the shots and why I use those type of shots that I use. All right, let me get this thing off. The means in the way. There we go. All right. Come on, YouTube, work with me.
I watched it.
So this is a film that I shot with my daughter a couple of weeks ago.
Hey, Randy. So, I want to talk to you about my yarn. You know, I got this yarn yesterday, and I'm just going to try to make a soft blanket with it because this yarn is so soft. I want you to feel it. Go on, touch it. It's so soft. Yeah, soft, right? This one's not as soft. I mean, it's kind of like, yeah, okay, you can feel the difference. But I don't know, it's easier to work with this one with the knitting because, I don't know, I guess that's what it's for. But
you can tell the mom because it's so exciting and interesting. What do you feel like? You can
Popcorn?
Oh no, it's buffering. Well, that's pretty much the end of the scene. End of it. But so basically, I'm gonna walk you through the shots and why I use those shots and how I utilize the master shot technique in this. So this will be your master shot here. So this is the master shot to establish, okay, we're on the couch and I'm playing the game.
Okay.
She walked into the scene to annoy me.
Andy, so I want to talk to you about my yarn. You know, I got this yarn yesterday, and I'm just going to try to make a soft blanket with it because this yarn is so soft. I want you to feel it. Go on, touch it. It's so soft.
Medium
yeah,
shot.
Soft.
So this is my medium shot. So I established the shot with the master. I established the scene with the master shot, and then I moved in on a medium shot of her.
Right.
I didn't do over the shoulder because it just the way we were placed, it just didn't seem very pleasing to use over the shoulder. You don't always have to use over the shoulder, but just if it makes sense to use it, then definitely use it.
Soft. I mean, it's kind of like, yeah, okay, you can feel the difference. But I don't know, it's easier to work with this one with the knitting because, I don't know, I guess that's what it's for.
So this will be basically a close-up. So this is my close-up. So I went from master shot to the medium, and now I'm in a close-up. So I'm just basically starting outward, and I'm just moving my way in. And we shot the scene maybe, 6 times, 7 times, over and over again. So this will be my insert, basically, to emphasize this is the most important part of this scene is her mouth just talking. It won't stop talking. So that will be my insert of the entire thing. So, and this shot here is the pushing shot. I'm pushing in on my face to emphasize that I'm getting really annoyed in the inside. So I'm just letting the audience know, okay, I'm annoyed at this point. And I have it going handheld because I wanted the camera to shake a little bit. So that way the camera's shaking, so I'm adding discomfort to my viewers, like, okay, this is he's in an unstable mood, he's getting annoyed. And when you're annoyed, you're pretty much unstable. So that's why I went with that. So this would pretty much be somewhat of a tracking shot when I'm tracking my hand going to get the popcorn. Let's go back. Yeah, that's like a quick tracking shot. Yeah, so we're back on the medium close up. Oh, sorry, a medium shot of me.
Popcorn?
Then I would cut to a medium shot of her. But I wanted to do the medium shot of me first because I didn't want to reveal that she's tied up. So now we're in the medium of her again. And then we're going to end it with the master shot and of both of us on the couch. Yeah. So that's pretty much it. So that's how I broke down. That was my thinking behind doing this project. So, any questions?
Did you use how did you film now I've done a lot. I use a handheld camera, I use a tripod, I've done all that. I've used a stick. But I've only done stuff like in a church, outside. How do you shoot? You shoot all this yourself?
Yeah. Well, with this particular short film, I had a friend helping me, but usually I could shoot most of it by myself, but I had help, so there was no point in shooting by myself this time. But I did what I did was I set up the camera, I set up the lights, I set up the microphones, and all I had was him hit record and him direct us and tell us, because he was director, so I acted as actor and cinematographer.
Okay.
And my friend was director. Yeah.
Okay. That's what I thought. I want to make sure I wasn't going crazy.
But I've done a whole short film like by myself using a motorized slider, so the camera was moving by itself, and I set the camera, and then I got in the frame and did the motion that way.
Ooh.
It took 4 hours, but it came out really great. Yeah. Good. Yeah. So basically, just an overview of everything. Your master shot technique will save you on any short film or any project that you do, and rule of thirds will differentiate you from good shots and bad shots. So that's just basically the foundation, the building blocks of shooting anything, any scene. Even I use rule of thirds for weddings, live events, everything, photography. Even when I'm doing cell phone photography, if I'm shooting family, even if I'm doing stuff myself, I would utilize rule of thirds just by habit. So I've made that basically a sixth sense in a way. So whenever I think of a shot, I think of, because I can visually see rule of thirds. I even have the rule of thirds guidelines on my camera just for an added help. But yeah.
How did you do? I know that comes under the area of her voice. I know that comes under the area either freezing or put in slow motion when you was doing the production of that.
Yeah. So what was the question?
Her voice. How did you get it to where it's like you were slowing her down?
Well, see, with that, a lot of people don't know when you do slow motion, you actually have to shoot for slow motion. So you have to plan that ahead of time.
Okay.
So a lot of cameras don't shoot slow-mo. I'm fortunate enough to have a camera that shoots slow motion, either 60 or 120 frames per second. So the higher your frame rate, the slower you can slow down your footage. So I shot that. Yeah, I shot that in 60 frames per second. Because I didn't want it's no point in me doing 120. So when I slowed it down in post, it slowed down the audio as well.
Okay. Got you.
That was the secret to behind that.
Yeah.
And make sure you everybody knows what post and pre-production is.
Okay, so what pre-production is all your planning. This is before you even touch the camera. This is before you yell action.
Okay.
Pre-production is writing the script, breaking down the script, casting, location scouting, scheduling the shoot, anything before you even yell action. And then production is when you yell action. That's when you're shooting, that's when you're on set, shooting, filming, making, doing a project. And then post-production is everything after your shoot. So that's editing, sound design, marketing strategies, shopping it to movie theaters, even uploading on YouTube would be considered in your post-production process.
Okay.
That's
Very
So
good.
pre-production, planning, production, shooting, post-production, editing, final touches, and all that stuff.
It's funny, I've never done that from the beginning. I've just, everything I've learned on my own, but I'll be thinking in my mind, but as far as pre-planning, yeah, that should be a critical, that's a critical step. And
well, so you do know, like, I think it must have been, I think it was 10 or 20 years, maybe even 10 or 15. But Avatar, the Blue People, they it took them 10 years of planning. I want to say 10 or more years of planning before they actually shot the film.
really?
And a lot of movies, if you think about Avengers Endgame, right? Endgame was, they had that planned out back with Iron Man 1. So Endgame was just 10 years of movies leading up to one movie. So they had everything interlaced and planned before they even shot Endgame. And that's why it's basically the #1 production out right now.
Wow.
So a lot of movies would take years to plan, 6 months to shoot, and 6 months to edit, because the planning is the most important thing. Even with anything, when you're doing a project, you want to plan every step of the way. You want to account for all the mistakes that may happen. You want to account for everything that can go wrong, that will go wrong, because you never stay on schedule. Everything always goes sideways every time. So, but if you don't have planning, your project's gonna fall apart. So you want to plan everything out. Yeah. And if you see some of the script breakdowns that I saw, like, you go from a 120-page script and you end up with a binder like a foot thick.
Wow.
You got headshots for actors. You have backup actors in case they act up. You have everyone's information. You have the caterer. You have numbers, like a call sheet is everyone's number. You got the director's number, producer's number, first AD. Well, first AD is first assistant director, your second AD, your cameraman, your DP, your cinematographer, all those people. And you have a long spreadsheet of just people's numbers.
Makes sense.
So if something go wrong, you don't have an excuse. Oh, I didn't know who to call. You have the call sheet.
Right.
And the thing is, if you show up 1 minute late, you're fired. It's cutthroat.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
It's cutthroat. But yeah, filmmaking it's a lot of people go, because everyone wants to be a director. They think that's like the most glorious job ever.
Yeah.
To me, producing and directing is the 2 worst jobs ever.
Okay, I can believe it.
They're great at the long run. They're good jobs to have, but they're really hard because you're in charge of everything. If you're a director and something goes wrong, it's on you.
Oh yeah.
If something goes completely right, you won't get the credit, but it's still on you. But if it goes wrong, but if the movie flops, it's on you. But if it does amazing, it's the actors. They did a great job.
Right.
But yeah, but it's a lot of work because people think directors just yell action and tell people what to do. No, they're in the planning room from day one. They're helping break down the script. They're helping finding actors. They work with the actors months before they even get on set. They're having dinner with actors. They're like, I want to get to know you before we get on set. They're doing all these things before they yell action. So I could be, as a director, I'll be working on a project for 3 years before I even get on set and yell action.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a lot. Like we've been working on a feature film now. It's been 2 years. We were supposed to shoot this month, but COVID happened, so we had to push it back. But we've been working on it for 2 years. So,
right.
Yeah, it's a lot. So yeah, filmmaking it's a great job. I love every bit of it, even all the bad.
And I thought I wanted to do that and quit what I'm doing now. For real.
Now, also, talk about doing shots with what we have now. You see a lot of smartphone shots, and and they're shooting in the wrong direction, rather than be
shooting it portrait mode.
Yes.
So I've shot a bunch of stuff on my iPhone. I even shot commercials. I've shot promo videos.
Really?
Just to challenge myself. Yeah. So I've learned over the years, it's not the camera you use, it's how you use your gear. And the number one thing is your lighting. You always want to have lighting because you can't use your bedroom lamps, your ceiling light in your house, because those lights they don't have high enough quality. They don't have, because lights are measured scientifically. Lights have a reading. I think they have to be like 96 something for it to register on camera correctly. And a lot of lamps and stuff, they don't register on camera correctly, so they're off. They're not accurate. They're off, and they make everything look muddy. So you want to get film light. Like I have a light here pointing at me, but if I use just a regular lamp, it wouldn't look pleasing at all. So even with the film we did, I used a light and I set it to the same color temperature as outside. I had light coming through my window, and I had another light to just emphasize that outside window light. So 90% of the time when you're watching a movie, even outdoors, you think the sun is looking good. No, that's not the sun. They have a really bright light outside hitting the subject, and the sun is just there adding. So or they use diffusion or a bunch of other stuff to shape and bend the sunlight. So basically, the most important thing in any video is lighting. So if you have a really good light, so like you notice why outside your selfies look the best in the sun, because that's perfect lighting for phones. So every camera performs the best on a sunny day. Every single one. Even GoPro, anything will perform great on a sunny day. But if you bring a GoPro inside and just use living room lights or whatever the case may be, it's going to look horrible. Even with an iPhone, the new iPhone, it's not going to look that great. But if you add light, it's going to look amazing. So lighting is like, if you don't own lights, you can sit next to a window, open the blinds to your window, and use your window as like your key light here. Like I have a light here, you see it. So if I didn't have this light on a bright day, I would sit right next to the window and I would have the window right here out of frame, but you would think it's an actual light in my face, but it's the light from outside.
Yeah, lighting is extremely important. I recognized that when I started videoing in 2007 with my handheld Canons and Sony camcorders. And then people asked me to do wedding receptions, which I hated them. And I decided I wasn't gonna make it a project and try to train my son. He didn't want to learn to do it, but I used to tell them and do a memorandum of understanding that says you understand that you're going to get just what your environment is, your atmosphere. If it's dark lighting, counter lights, you're going to get dark counter lighting outcome, and you ain't going to blame me for that. So I would tell them that in advance, and they'd be like, "We also lighting makes a difference." And then I read where churches have the worst lighting because of the candle tier lightings, and you can't explain it to people or pastors. No, really, you can't. When they start, you can't explain it to them. So I just quit because it does make a big difference.
Yeah, my church is building a new church, and I told them they need to install Licos and those stage lights, high power, at least 5 or 6 stage lights. If you want to do live, you have to have stage lights, because they were saying they have like, oh, we got lights. They were talking about just the regular lights in the ceiling.
Yeah.
Stage you have lights. To have stage lights hitting the stage, do a stage wash. You have to have backlights to hit the back of your subject to separate your subject from the background.
Right.
So we had a long talk on that. So I don't know what they're gonna do, but hopefully they take the advice. But let's go pray for them.
There you go. Very good.
So you make sure that you're doing landscape when you shoot, especially on an iPad or phone.
So most people, when they shoot on their phones, their first instinct is to shoot this way.
Yes.
But you want to shoot this way all the time. Unless if you're shooting if you're just taking a selfie of yourself, you're just at your whatever. But a lot of people, when they, like, I have clients who send me cell phone footage to add to a video, and I tell them no a lot of times because most of it is shot like this.
Right.
And I'm like, if you're gonna shoot something, you want to shoot it this way because your TV doesn't look like this.
Well, you telling the truth.
You don't watch TV. You don't watch TV up and down.
That's
You
true.
watch
Brother
TV
brought that
this
to my
way.
attention. Yeah, he did.
So you want to shoot this way, and that's how. If you want to shoot 16 by 9, not 9 by 16.
That's exactly right. And I am familiar with the size and those dimensions. So let me ask you. So you said people shoot you stuff that way, and then they send it to you because somebody sent something to us and I couldn't do nothing with it. I mean, I didn't know what to do with it. They sent as a footage and email. I know that's not part of the class, but sending video clips from your phone through that's the best way to get it, is through email. What's the type of AVI or what's a good format?
So MP4 is the most universal format. I know
MP4.
AVI is it's a large format, and not every computer
it's old.
Most people read AVI codec. It's not horrible, but MP4 is probably the best codec.
Okay.
It's most universal. It's the easiest to work with. It's the easiest to edit.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the format a person would save it in, because when you use a video camera, you get the different formats, and then when you use your cell phone, you get the different formats. I don't get people understand.
XML is the hardest to work with.
Which one?
XML and AVC HD.
Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
those are the worst as far as editing though. But yeah. Any more questions?
Can you go over the assignment in Google Classroom, like what Deborah's going to be working on?
Yes. So I'm gonna pull up Google Classroom,
and then I
need to pull it up.
because I'm looking at that email. Yeah. Okay.
So I'm pulling up Google Classroom before I share my screen. All right. No, here's my email. All right. Intro composition, yay. Hold on, I'm trying to pull up the assignment. There we go. All right, back to Zoom. So basically, for the assignment, I'm basically gonna have you shoot a short film, well, whatever, I would say a short film, basically similar to what I did. I'm gonna stop sharing. So basically to what I did, you're gonna utilize the master shot technique. So you're just practicing the master shot technique. You don't have to worry too much on your audio. We're just focusing on your composition, your rule of thirds. You can use all the shots if you want, or you can just, as long as you utilize the master shot technique, we get a sense of your scene, what's going on in the scene, and your shooting coverage. That's basically it for the assignment. It don't have to be super long. It could be 30 seconds, a minute, as long as we get all of the main shots. I would say at least try to use 4 out of all the shots I've sent you. Now, all the shots will be listed in Google Classroom. I definitely want to see a master shot and a medium shot. Those are the 2 most important shots.
Okay.
So we can just establish, that's what another word for master shot is, establishing shot. Just establish the location, establish where you are.
Okay.
And another unique way, Tyler Perry does it this way. He always shoots the outside of a house as an establishing shot. And then he goes in the house and he shoots another master shot of the living room.
He does do that in his movies.
Yeah. Yeah. So he's a prime example for master shot technique. So yeah.
Hey there, Zai. Welcome to class.
So, you know, if you're using your camcorder, use your phone to do your shots and everything like that. And you don't, so I've used like software. I don't care for it. I'm not going to be trying to use it, but I've used Nero for so long. Not Nero, it's, oh, what is it? And but anyway, it allows you to take your raw footage off your cameras and put them into that software and work it to convert it to like MPEG or all these different things.
Yeah.
Do you necessarily have to convert raw footage from like your cell phone, or if I was using my cell phone?
I know, because I use the software that I use, it will read any codec. And when I'm done editing, I would always export as an MP4 because it's easier to upload to YouTube. It's easier to send to someone for them to view as well.
Okay, export. That's the main thing.
Not everybody can read MOV or AVCHD or XML. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
MP4 is universal.
Okay.
So any questions on the assignment?
No,
Okay.
MOV is mostly Apple, right?
All Apple.
Is it Apple?
Yeah.
You know, Apple gotta be. It's QuickTime.
Is Apple.
QuickTime, yeah. MOV is QuickTime. It's a pain to work with sometimes, especially if you're going from Mac to PCs, and yeah, it's a lot.
Okay. I've had a Sony handheld camera. I've got the company's called Orthro 4K. I forgot that handheld camera, but it's got the wide angle lenses, the mic. I've had it and just have not touched it yet. But I love the Canon and the Sony handheld.
Perfect time to pull it out.
I know, and it overwhelmed me because I used to video a lot of stuff, and I said, well, I just throw it in the box. I said, oh my God, because it just started overwhelming me. The lens, because I do need that, the lenses and units more up to date one.
Yeah. Nope, time to pull it on out.
I plan to.
And shoot some movies.
I'd like to.
Definitely. All right.
So yeah, we had one person join in the last few minutes, Zai. We did record everything, so Zai, you will be able to go back and watch the class if need be. But were there any more questions on anything that he had taught so far? Randy, you did a great job, by the way. That was
sure did.
Wonderful job, man. I learned a lot.
Yeah.
You go do the assignment too, Jordan.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to now, honestly, because I didn't even like the way you were explaining the scenes and the reason for the scenes was quite helpful.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought about it that way.
I'll give you guys this one last gem. Like literally 99% of the shots you see in a short film or in a movie, those shots have a reason for it. It's like they don't just point the camera at any random thing and say, hey, this looks cool. No, every shot has a specific meaning and reason behind it to push the emotion and the story forward. I feel like if this shot isn't going to move the story forward, or if there's no significance to the importance of the storyline in this scene, then I'm not going to use the shot. I'm not even going to waste my time getting the shot, really. So even it starts back in pre-production when you do your storyboard and your shot list. You read the script, you start building your shot. This shot is going to portray this type of motion or emotion for this particular character or this particular scene. So we're going to use this shot because it's going to make the audience feel this type of way. So every single shot has a particular reason behind it. So even the same thing with commercials, corporate, everything. Just it all works. Once you get the basics, like the foundation of rule of thirds and master shot, you can pretty much shoot anything. Like even with weddings, when I shoot weddings, every wedding starts off with a master shot of the church or the venue.
Okay.
So when you do a wedding, you always start off with you show the church. What I do is I would show the outside of the church. Then I would do a wide shot of the entire room. And then I would move in on the close-ups like flowers, the things like that.
Okay.
And then I would cut to the bride and groom getting ready and all that stuff. So it's master shot technique right there. So it's so many ways to use it, and it's a fail-safe, and it's basically the foundations of filmmaking.
Then I've been doing that and didn't even realize it, but I hate doing weddings, but I live in a little town and I've done stuff and
I've done
few and they've been
over 20 weddings last year or the year before, one of those.
I don't care for them, but I feel like it takes two people to catch everything. But I did just like you. I thought, well, they didn't say what they really wanted, so I met with everybody. So I would like go outside. I mean, I do the church and the inside and the flowers.
Right. So as far as weddings, what I do is I make my client sign a shot list. So I list every single shot that typical weddings would have, and they would review the shot list, and I will leave blank lines so they can add shots. Make sure you shoot my grandma. Make sure you shoot my uncle. Make sure you get a shot of this, or make sure you get a shot of that. And I make them write it in. So when I send them the video and they say, well, you didn't shoot my cousin, I look at the shot list. You signed off on it. You didn't say shoot my cousin Pookie. So
that's great. That's great.
Yeah. So you signed off on a document. So I shoot everything on my shot list plus whatever you add to it.
That's great. That's great. I've never done that. I thought I just did stuff on my own, like you said.
That's why contracts are.
Memorandum of understanding is what I started doing. It started happening with them lighting, and in a church, I used to do praise dance anniversaries, and there was no lights down the middle, and they had.
And another thing, what you can do is, if they don't want to turn the lights on, I let them know, hey, that's why I try to go to the rehearsals and check the venue before. And I would say, okay, this lighting isn't that great. This is as good as an image I can get before the image falls apart. And if they say it's okay, I will get them signing off on saying that exposure or that type of lighting is okay.
That's all right.
So when I send them the final video, it's too dark or it's too bright.
I got burned.
We had this conversation. You said it was okay. So I mean, most weddings they would turn the lights up for me because they want the best possible shot.
Right.
So they would, but it's mostly receptions where the receptions are really dark, and this is when you get into the super scientific things. Like you want a fast lens. So what a fast lens is, the faster the lens, the lower your aperture. So basically, the lower your aperture, the wider your lens will open, and you let more light in. And you have to get a camera that can handle low light. Like Sony can go up to 2,000 to 2,500 ISO before it gets way too grainy.
Okay.
So you want to get a fast lens and a camera that can do really good low light.
Okay.
So that's when that's when the technical aspect come into play.
Right.
Zai is interested. I believe Zai is interested in being a YouTube. You have a YouTube channel?
Yes, I do.
Oh, sweet. Well, I have tutorials on my YouTube channel and a bunch of other stuff going on. So basically what I do on my YouTube channel is I do a lot of tutorials, gear reviews. I sometimes vlog on my gigs and just take you guys behind the scenes onto how I do things basically. And I'm starting to drop more editing tutorials and more camera reviews, microphone reviews, audio tutorials, what's the best mic to buy, why I use the gear that I use, just those different things. I basically take you in my head and why I do things the way I do it.
You put links to that in Google Classroom? That'd be good for.
Yes, I can.
Yeah.
Well, I have the quarantine short film in there. So yeah, you can click on that and then my profile's there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome. Very good.
Very good. Any more questions?
Very good class. Very good class.
Sweet.
Well, thank you guys again. If there are any more questions, thank you again, Randy. That was a great lesson, man.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, we will be back in here on this class on Saturday at 11. Both of you all are in our MP classes, our music production classes. So we'll probably see you on Tuesday or Wednesday. So. Yep. All right.
Nice.
All right. Have a great weekend. What's left?
All right. Thank you guys.
Enjoy your Memorial Day weekend. Yes. Thank you.
Enjoy Saturday.
Bye-bye.
Right,
bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay. You can stop the recording.
Oh, yeah. Appreciate that.